Hey humans, welcome to my channel or welcome back to my channel. I'm Hojas. Today we will talk about the intimacy of being understood while painting a kind of antique book cover aesthetic in mixed media. We all want a fantastic relationship where we understand each other and feel close to each other, and the intimate connection is precious. But getting to this point is very hard. We often don't feel seen, don't understand our partners, or don't know how to work on our emotional intimacy. We'll discuss why this happens and practical ways to overcome it. Let's start by defining emotional intimacy. Feeling close with your partner, feeling comfortable sharing your feelings with them, feeling understood, and affirming and demonstrating caring. Intimacy applies to all relationships: romantic, platonic, familial, and friendships. We'll focus more on romantic ones today, but everything said applies to all relationships. A little disclaimer: being misunderstood by other people, it's okay. We tend to give too much importance to feeling understood by others. You don't need to be understood to be okay or even suitable. Don't feel inadequate or insufficient for being different or feeling misunderstood. Most importantly, don't change who you are to feel understood. Today, we aren't talking about being understood by society though. We're focusing a bit more on romantic intimacy. And real intimacy comes from being understood and understanding the other person. To be clear, we're talking about non-sexual intimacy, which is essential for relationships. The number one cause of breakups is a lack of emotional intimacy. It creates a distance between the couple, which ends up in separation. A lack of emotional intimacy makes people feel they aren't understood. Therefore, to feel lonely within the relationship. Intimacy allows us to show ourselves and feel seen and understood. This is the foundation of a relationship, regardless of whether you're physically together. What makes you a great lover and partner is to be able to read your partner and express yourself. That's intimacy. Now that we've defined intimacy and its relevance, let's talk about why feeling understood is so crucial for intimacy. One of our deepest longings as humans is to feel heard, viewed, and, more importantly, understood. It's not about our partners agreeing with our feelings, but validating them. It is a straightforward acknowledgement that makes us feel so good. Yet, we received and gift so little of it. Why? It's a habit, or lack of one, that begins in childhood, as most of our attitudes do. Even loving parents tend to neglect reflecting their children's feelings to them with the mere objective of them realizing they're being seen, understood, and how they feel is being validated. Instead, we, as humans, default to responding or even solving. So we try to absorb those feelings, work with them, soothe them, dull them, and so on, without reflecting them back. We even neglect them to make them disappear and help our children or others feel better. For example, if the kid says, "I'm scared," an average parent would tend to answer, "Don't be, there's nothing to be scared about." An answer that would make the children feel understood would have been, "I understand. Doing new things can be very scary." Growing up in these ways make us adults who don't make others feel understood, and we all feel lonely, and the intimacy of all our human relationships take a hit. Because we tend to replicate this method. When someone trusts us with their troubling thoughts or feelings, we try to tell them to be okay, that it's nothing, or to provide a solution instead of acknowledging how they feel and just being there to listen. As solvers, we might feel that acknowledging an awful feeling will make it more real, or worse. We'd feel like we are not helpful. But what happens is precisely the opposite. Most of us feel like the feelings troubling us have less control over us once they have been validated. We also feel more close and intimate with those who expressly understand us. In other words, we transfer the dynamic we had with our parents as kids to our romantic relationships. For example, one says, "I feel like you don't listen to me." And the partner replies, "Of course I do." Yes, it gets more challenging in romantic relationships because many of those afflicting feelings our partner might have are tied to us. So our ego or even sense of guilt also gets in the way. But we should try to leave those things aside, vocally accept our partner's feelings, and maybe discuss practical terms for improvement afterward. We can deal better with not being understood by most people and feeling a misfit from society if we feel understood by a few, even if it's a deep connection with our partner alone. Now that we understand why we all tend to feel misunderstood and how to change this for better intimacy, which is the essential part of our relationship, we can talk about some practical tips to deepen your emotional intimacy in your relationships. These practical tips to increase intimacy and understanding are: validate what your partner says and feels. You don't have to agree necessarily. Laugh together. Compliments, giving them, but also be open to receive them. Encourage your partner. Challenge them in a good way. Love them in their love language. Be vulnerable. Share your secrets and insecurities. Acknowledge your frustrations when they come up. Don't accumulate without communicating. Externalize the problems. Don't make them the problem. And express gratitude and appreciation regularly. In conclusion, emotional intimacy is the most crucial aspect of relationships. It will dictate how the rest of the relationship will unfold. And a critical element of intimacy is understanding and feeling understood. To make our loved ones feel understood, we must work on stopping our default reactions and developing a healthier dynamic in which we acknowledge others' feelings, we validate them. It will, in turn, encourage them to do the same. About the painting, this is a page in my sketchbook. I got inspired by antique book covers and decided to make my interpretation of one. I used oils for the painting and calligraphy gold ink for the ornaments and type. I hope you enjoyed this week's video, and I hope to see you on the next one. Don't forget to share it if you know someone who would benefit from watching this. Bye, humans. Have a great day.